Hello, and thanks so much for joining us this week. It's Owen's half hour basically where we talk about the Calgary Roughnecks. But this week, Owen decided to take it on the road. Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Yeah, so I went to Vancouver, hung out there for the weekend, got caught up with a few people, and all I can say is Vancouver celebrates a lot harder than we do in Calgary.
Really? That's a pretty impressive and bold statement.
Yeah, like when they score, it's like a totally different show there. Like even their intro and the way they have like the whole arena like projectified. It is just insane.
Yeah, it is definitely I watched the game there. Didn't see you at all. So where were your seats? You had pretty good seats?
Yeah, so I was actually at the top of the lower bowl, and in my section, actually, was basically a Calgary Roughneck section.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because a lot of the players are from there and spend most of their time there, right? So they have all their friends and family. It was basically a home game for the Roughnecks, even though it was in BC.
Even though it's in BC. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play the replay in the background here. This is just kind of some of the stuff I picked out. While I do it, why don't we let you go over your stats that you sent us for the week?
Okay. So to start, it was 3-1 after the first quarter for Calgary. Calgary's first goal was scored by Jesse King. And then T. Cook as well scored. And Jesse King also scored a power play goal. And for Van, the only goal came from, I'm probably going to butcher this name, a Charmahide on the power play. Oh, I can't hear you, Greg.
I muted myself when you got going, so I wouldn't talk over you. It's Adam Charlambides.
Charomini. Okay. All right, and then at the half, it was 7-6 for Calgary. Calgary's couple first couple goals of that quarter during the second was Josh Courier and Zach Courier, as well as Jesse King on the power play and Hayden Dixon. And for Vancouver, our Martel got two. C. Sandlin got one. S. Evans and our boy Air Sharma got another one. So really, Calgary started to fall behind goal wise a little bit in the second, but they very much made it up. In
Yeah,
the
they didn't take their break at the beginning of the game this week. They decided to wait for the middle.
Yeah, no, and Calgary came out swinging too. They got off to a very early lead. And for the third quarter, they were actually up 10-8 with Hayden Dixon scoring on the power play, as well as Jesse King and Zach Courier getting another goal in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was
And,
pretty impressive night for the Courier boys.
yeah, no, the running joke that I often see on the Calgary videos is the Couriers delivered.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then the fourth quarter, Tyler Pace got a goal on the power play. Hayden Dixon got two more goals, and Josh Courier got the last goal of Calgary for the night. And
Yeah,
the final goal was score was 14-9 for Calgary.
it was, and I tell you though, I mean, even though the final score was 14-9, it was a really exciting game, and I didn't think it was a terrible game for Vancouver. Del Bianco played amazing. I got a couple highlight saves, and he gets up the floor there, getting the assist. Tried for a couple empty netters at the end, wasn't quite able to to get it, but he did what he does best and moves that transition up the floor. And I tell you, watching like Courier come up on transition at one point, one of these highlights, he pulls up and decides to pull out and then gets the assist waiting for the offense. Just the experience and the knowledge you're getting out of the Courier brothers on that team is just amazing.
Yeah, no, the Curry brothers are amazing. I may or may not actually have an interview coming up with Zach soon for my channel, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh, that's awesome. And now here's Jesse King right off the bat. I wanted to show this goal.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, here's Del Bianco doing what he does, gets up, fires it down, and King just boom gets run
yeah,
into and just jumps up. Wow, is he tough?
yeah. No, boom, right there. King gets it in.
Yeah, King, talk about leading by example. We've said it so many times. He gets them up, gets them fired up, gets them going. And let's
Yeah.
hear some of your top stuff.
Okay. So top goal getters tonight were was Captain Jesse King. Speaking of which, with 4 goals, and for Vancouver with 3, it was Adam Charbini's.
Yeah, Charlene Beatties.
Yeah. Top assists of the night go to Tanner Cook for Calgary with 4, and for Vancouver we have Lily Lowen with 3.
And Tanner Cook has been on fire. He's had a very hot stick lately for Calgary. See him up there in the assist, and he had a couple goals too. That he continues to play great for you guys.
Yeah, Cookie's been doing amazing, especially when they're man down. He seems to step up a bit more. I find.
Yeah, yeah. You guys had a couple shorthanded goals, I believe.
Yeah, it was a crazy night for shorthanded goals, but Calgary has been putting in the defensive work on that end.
Yeah, yeah. Their Calgary's defense is definitely huge. And you seen on that one play there, that was Sean Evans kind of got left alone. He kind of like hid, and that was a rare miss that you don't see very often from Calgary.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and then some fun facts of the night. Uh, so Delves is first in the league in save percentage and second in goals against average. He also has 16 assists, which is 12 more than any other goalie. Just thought you all should know about that.
That is insane. I knew he had a lot. I did not know he had 16. That is
Yeah,
nuts. I mean, he has more. I bet you he has more than we should figure out this stat. How many more guys, like what percentage of the league he has more assists than, because
yeah,
he's got to be up there.
yeah. And your favorite thing, Greg, Delves also put $500 towards Kid Sport Assist for Kids. The season total now sits at 8,000.
What an amazing accomplishment. Good for those guys. I love that. Del Bianco is since we've started the show, he's now one of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah, Delves is such an amazing guy too.
Yeah, he really you could see he goes, does the right thing constantly.
Yeah, and Calgary, this was their third straight win in a row.
Yeah, Calgary is on fire now. They might not have gotten off to the best start, but I tell you, they have really figured things out and it has been all go.
Yeah, well, the standings we're still only behind San Diego.
And we actually, I believe this is my fault. I may just skip over the top of it, but with a total of 13 loose balls, the Calgary champ is your buddy Zach Courier.
Oh yeah.
And for
Yeah.
Vancouver, though, it looks like you had Reed Bowering with 21 loose balls of the night.
Yeah, no, he was crazy on those loose balls, man.
Yeah, that is nuts. So that's like somebody who goes completely, under the radar a lot. Sean Evans has been awesome up there too, kind of bringing that offense together.
Yeah, and Calgary also had 46 shots on Aaron Bold, and uh,
They,
Calgary had 46 shots on Aaron Bold. Vancouver had 61 shots on Delves.
yeah, so they had 61 shots. He ends up with 9 goals.
Yeah.
So what he had 52 saves.
Yep.
It 52 saves and an assist, a couple shots, almost gets himself a couple goals for the end there. It's yeah, he
Yeah.
has been phenomenal.
Well, it's funny with Delves. When I was sitting there watching, I was literally like, because my dad went with me, I told him, I was like, Dad, watch this. Delves will literally pass it with pinpoint accuracy up the floor every time.
It's
And
amazing. He yeah, and he makes it look easy.
yeah, no.
Right there's that save. They're showing it. Yeah, this is crazy. He just somehow gets over there, and it's
Yeah,
those kind of saves. And so like that ends up happening, and then they have the one where they overturn the goal, and then Calgary scores again. And really, that's why I say this game was a lot closer than people were thinking. So you were leaving, coming into the second half, and it was really only a one goal game.
yeah, no, it really was for the most part. And it was just crazy
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
one thing I noticed is Calgary did a really good job of actually getting some offensive rebounds, and you see on some of their offensive sets they had it, 3, 4, 5 times, and that's what you ended up seeing. The problem was is on their defense, they got stuck out there for a couple possessions. Those offensive rebounds are really a huge. You get 2 or 3 sets with your five on, and you can kind of switch some guys out. But it was a really impressive game.
Yeah, and the other thing with Calgary is a lot of teams now know with us they got to keep up to our transition game and shut us down in transition.
Yeah, your transition is really what sets that team apart. So
Yeah.
like you've got a great offense and you're really seeing it with King and Pace and now Cook's getting hot and you do see it, but really like you see Simpson and Courier getting up the floor and that's what I think really sets apart, you know, uh Calgary versus some of the other teams in the league.
Yeah. No, Calgary's transition game is totally on point for sure. And then this week, we also Calgary's playing Vegas on Friday. So that's the 24th at 8:30 my time. So that's a really late game for you, Greg.
Yeah, I will definitely be in bed by the time that game comes around.
Yeah, and Vancouver plays Sask on Saturday, which San Diego just fell to Sask this past weekend, which I found shocking.
Yes, so Saskatchewan is one of those teams. Their offense definitely woke up. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that game, but wow, that was a good game.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch that game, but during like the intermissions, I literally checked the score around the league, and I was like, "Whoa, Sask is beating San Diego. What the heck is going on tonight?"
Yeah, it was crazy. And see, like here's another one of those possessions. So this is when Calgary's going to go up, and I believe they end up with 4 or 5 offensive sets before they finally bury it. Just the way they were on the loose balls up front. You see them, boom. That's
Oh
their
yeah,
third one.
yeah,
And right there, you can't give them that many chances. They're going to score. They're way too talented up front. And there's Jesse King again. But right here, see Courier. I mean, boom. He
yeah.
steals it on transition, flying up the floor, fakes the
2 on
pass
one.
over, takes it himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and then scores. That's what I mean with Delves. He'll make that pass 90% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And when he doesn't, like Courier right there, just on the loose ball, picks it up and goes
Yeah,
flying down.
yeah,
Yeah, the transition game, and I think that's what sets Buffalo apart in the East is Buffalo's defense, kind of similar to Calgary. They have as many goals as the offense on some of these other teams.
yeah.
But right here, you're going to see Delps gets himself in a little bit of trouble. So they end up it's 8 second violation. It doesn't happen very often, especially
Yeah,
with Colorado or with Calgary with that fast transition. But then you see they kind of, Vancouver picks up the ball and they decide they're going to make a game out of this.
yeah,
And that's what like going into the quarter, they were really it was a very close game. Then we go into the fourth and this is where Calgary kind of takes charge a little bit. They get a couple goals, but then Sean Evans kind of just tries to stop the bleeding. And one thing that I found was huge, you see that there's a lot of goals right after another one. Like Calgary had a lot of those momentum goals where they'd get it, get the face off, score another one. Get it, get the face off, and they'd have kind of two goals back to back.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a crazy time for sure. Yeah, for sure. I
So
was very impressed with how Vancouver uh, paired up against us.
yeah, and it really shows the parity in this league because Vancouver's down towards the bottom, but I mean they're a great team, and Sean Evans has done great things with them. And I mean, really, so they're within 3 goals, and Vancouver, you're thinking, okay, they might, have a chance to bring this back, but then you get right there, he's just like, nope.
Yeah,
Hayden Dixon steps up big, and then kind of says, "No, guys, this is our game. Thank you very much for coming out." But it was another
yeah,
one of those just offensive set, offensive set. They get the rebound, they reset, and boom.
yeah. No, yeah, boom, exactly.
Well, and actually, so I think I said that. See, right there. So Courier, that's what I mean, is he comes up and he
Yeah,
doesn't pressure on this one because he knows right now they're up by 3 goals. They've got time. There's 22 seconds on the shot clock. He spins right out and feeds it to him. And what
yeah,
a hidden gem he has been since he's been on this team because not only do you get the offensive production, but you get the experience and knowing, when he can step out. And then Dixon just comes flying up, him and King, but here you go. You see Delbs again.
yeah. No, Vancouver also pulled their goalie like we just saw there, and that was the knife at the end.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is too. You see that Calgary, they didn't just they get the ball, they get the pass. Nobody just shoots for the net. They wait till they've
Yeah,
got it figured out. Eat the clock a little bit, coming in, beautiful. He's wide open, takes a nice shot.
boom. Yeah,
Yeah, because Vancouver's a dangerous team. They got a lot of offensive firepower, and Calgary just kind of showed, a little more poise. Del Bianco, he's tough to compete with. You see, Aaron Bold played a good game, but it just wasn't, a great game, which is what you're seeing is you really need great games out of your goalie if you want to be competitive. So I mean this score looks a little bit more lopsided than I felt the game even was.
yeah. No, like it was very much a tick for tack kind of game for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Oh boy, I got all kinds of things going on with my screen right now. We got a little
There's hundreds of me.
there's hundreds of you're just that impressive. Oh, we wanted to have so many of you. And
Right? You got an infinity screen going on.
yeah, the problem was we had too many. I had a bunch of guys on last week when we were me and Rodney after our show got over with, we started kind of just BSing, man. 4 other
Yeah,
guys got
that's
on, and
fair.
I forgot all about it. Then I added you, and the next thing I know, I was like, "Oh, wait, we have a ton of screens here because it's been a pretty much impromptu. We kind of
Yeah, no,
we kind of planned
totally.
this a couple times, and it just hasn't quite worked. But I tell you, so what did you find was the most impressive thing about the going to Vancouver for the game?
Well, they have a gummy bear brand called Habib for a sponsor, so that was so I got a little pack of gummy bears at the end of the game. That was pretty cool.
Sweet,
And there's a picture of me with a gummy bear mascot.
awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said before, they just sell you harder in Vancouver.
Which is I find hard to believe. I mean, you guys got the bang 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 bang, which is you see everybody selling
Yeah,
it hard there, but yeah, Vancouver plays pretty emotional too, and that team, that Chase Scanlon, he's a young guy who's coming up with Sean Evans. I think that's going to be a great I I it was smart for Vancouver to pick him up to kind of work with some of the young guys, and Vancouver is looking a lot better. But as you were talking about earlier, the West has just been
oh
completely thrown on its head.
yeah, no, the West is very much completely like locked in. Everybody's like grinding at it. You see Vancouver at the bottom, but really, you also got to consider where everyone else is
Yeah.
and how crazy the competition has been in the West.
Well, this is what I mean is like when you look at so San Diego had only one loss before, which was to Calgary, and it really made Calgary kind of stand out in the West. And now you see Calgary actually has the 7 wins. But with what Saskatchewan just did to San Diego, I mean, you guys kind of started the downfall of San Diego, and then it's been a bit of a rockier road for them. But what I think San Diego's missing is that goalie. They don't have a Christian Del Bianco, and Chigliano plays okay, and sometimes they play. And I sorry, I forget the other guy's name, but he actually started the game against Saskatchewan, and I don't know. I think that's the same problem Albany's running into when Dougie's not playing lights out. If you don't have that lights out, and that's why you see Georgia doesn't have a
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, no, for sure. San Diego definitely needs a all-star goalie. Frankie's an amazing guy, nothing against him. It just maybe getting close to that time to bring in a new all-star young goalie for them.
Well, and that's where you kind of run into the issues because you see Georgia's going through that. Is like, do you start the game with Dobson, who you expect to be your future goalie, or do you
Yeah.
put Wendy in because Wendy happens to be playing better now? And I mean, it's a tough spot to be in these teams because you're
Yeah.
building them up, but you gotta. And as we talked about, so Colorado and what is going on with Panther City? I mean, they are on a tear right now, and Colorado is not looking good, and they're going to get a chance to redo it again here. But wow,
Yeah, no, Panther City is actually one of my US teams, and a buddy of mine play he plays for Vegas now, but he did play for Panther City during last year's expansion. And man, Panther City is just clawing their way to the top.
yeah, no, Panther City has looked great. The Mammoth, they have not. On the other hand, now who's your buddy that plays for them? Was it Turner? Because he's one of the guys that went from he went from the Mammoth to Panther City. But you're saying went from Panther City and is now in Vegas.
Yeah, so my buddy is Travis Cornwall.
Aha, yes, and he has been playing very well. Unfortunately, Vegas, it was a great game. Albany just in the fourth quarter forgot how to score. Uh, they've got a young offense and they're getting through it and they're getting better all the
Yeah,
time. But
it's a rebuilding type of year.
it's and I tell you, last year and you could see it. And then they brought in some more offensive pieces, and I think if they can keep this offense together, there was a lot of bright spots for Albany in that game. Their offense was really clicking, and now we're gonna get to see. I'm gonna get to see if that was just because of their defense or because now Calgary is playing against Vegas, and
Yeah.
Calgary has been in the top now. They're the second in the West. Vegas has been on fire. Now we're going to get to see, is Vegas really that good, or have they just like, because it was against Albany, they looked good?
Yeah, no, and that's going to be the question going into the game this Saturday for sure is are they that good, or was it just because it was Albany?
Right, and that's what I don't know. I think it was a great game, and I think they're going to give you guys a run for your money. But I am expecting Calgary to take that game. I would actually expect. I'm going to have to go out on the limb here and say Colorado is going to beat Panther City, just because I think they've got. I don't. They got to figure something out here. If they don't, I think we're past the halfway point. Colorado's starting to lose a chance. And I mean, so if Panther City's able to beat them again, it's tough to beat a team,
Yeah.
twice in a row like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Colorado responds. But I definitely think the game that, if I'm only going to watch one game, I'm definitely watching that Calgary game because they have been on fire and Vegas has also been looking great. I really can't wait to see how Vegas's offense does against Calgary's defense and against El Bianco because they were able to put up 14 points against the Firewolves. And of the 14, I would say maybe there was 2 goals that Dougie wanted back. But other than that, I mean, I was very impressed with the way Vegas plays offense.
Yeah, no, and Vegas is new to the league and they're finding their groove now that we're halfway through, so it should be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But I mean, now we get over to the East. We get a couple games on Saturday. We've got um, New York Riptide taking on the Rochester team. Rochester was able to get a win again last week, snapping their streak. So they're kind of running away in the top of the East with Buffalo and Toronto.
Yeah.
Albany and Georgia are going to be battling for, I think, who's going to be the worst team in the East, is how it kind of appears. Philly, Buffalo. I haven't had a chance to watch that game yet, but wow, that game went into
Ooh.
overtime. Tell me, that's got to be an impressive game. I can't wait.
Yeah. That would be a good game for sure.
And then rounding off the weekend, you've got Vancouver playing Saskatchewan. Now,
Yeah.
Saskatchewan is a very streaky team. They seem to be able to like beat San Diego big time, and then they struggle to get points. Vancouver's due for a win here pretty soon. This could be the weekend they get it. But if Saskatchewan plays the way that, I mean, we all know Saskatchewan can play, and if they show up like they did and their offense gets that many points, I think it'll be tough for Vancouver to outscore them. I don't think they've got quite that firepower up front.
Yeah, no, Vancouver is for sure gonna have to play their heart out and hopefully get an early win for sure.
They got to figure something out because, I mean, at least they are
Yeah.
building towards the future. They've got a lot of young pieces. It looks good. I think the biggest games, like we said in the West, is really going to be your game this week. I think your game is the
Yeah.
big game in the West. I think everybody's expecting Saskatchewan to beat Vancouver. And probably, I mean, honestly, your game, it looks like it's going to be the most exciting game of the weekend, even for, I mean, unless we're talking, obviously, I'm going to be watching the Firewolves game. I think the battle for the
Yeah.
bottom of the East is going to be exciting. I'd hate to say it, but I'm thinking Georgia's due for a win. They just got spanked by Toronto after they played
Yeah.
them to within one goal. Albany tends not to have the firepower to win those one goal games. If their young men can play, and it comes down to transition goals, really, as so many of these games have.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It can be determined on the transition game for sure.
Yeah, and actually, we had a comment in here. Thank you very much, Josh H. Albany
Oh,
Firewolves offense seems to come and go. Sadly, their defense can only do so much, and their offense disappears. That is 100% well said. Their defense is incredible, and they have to get a lot of transition goals, but their offense is very streaky. You've got a lot of young American field players that they're trying to
yeah,
turn into box lacrosse players, and they're going to. I mean, they're so talented. You watch them, and Connor Kelly, the way he runs from the side and just launches that. So I'm actually going to be talking about that with me on Yeti Talks this week. And yeah, you
nice.
see the way like he reaches away from his body and they make that other shooting lane. It's just so impressive when their offense is on. McCardle, Tanner Thompson played amazing. He had a great weekend. So yeah, a lot of good things for Albany. But thanks very much for the comment, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Yeah. So anything else you'd like to talk about lacrosse related?
Well, I was showing you this before we started, but my PS5 head came in the mail, all strung up from my buddy Aiden out in Winnipeg.
Aiden, we tagged in one of our other videos. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Aiden. That was an awesome. He's a pretty good lacrosse player in his own right. I was able to find some footage of him for the World Juniors. He played in the Lax Night tournament that I've streamed. So, like I said, pretty good player and a pretty good stringer. He made that PlayStation stick look pretty good. I don't know if everybody was able to see it, but the yeah, he strung it. And he dyed it too, right? The PlayStation.
Yeah, he died up at the top blue, left the fade to white, and if I can get this close enough, it actually has all the circle, square, triangle, and the logo on it.
Right above the holes where
Yeah,
it would be your leathers would go in if it was a traditional, but now it's just how you attach the top wall, you know.
yeah, no. So I'm hoping to get a shaft soon for this guy. I have a lead, so hopefully that pans out.
Awesome. And when are we expecting to? So when does the season kick up for the Thunder Monkeys?
Ooh, I know we have a program start. Our sessions have started up again recently. I just got to get out to one.
And we've got a. I noticed your shirt there. Could you tell us what that shirt is? You got it from Vancouver, and that is a
Yeah.
beautiful shirt.
So this shirt is Vancouver Warriors logo, and it's what their indigenous jerseys look like.
So awesome way
Yeah.
they're trying to celebrate the indigenous Heritage, and that's actually so. Our next home game for us is Lyle Thompson will be playing, and Jeremy, and we've got the youngest brother Jerome, or Heine they call him. So, and
Yep.
that's actually going to be Indigenous Peoples Night at in Albany. We always wear our orange. So you've got
Nice.
some pretty big news, though. You've got a ton of interviews on your channel. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of a few of those lacrosse interviews, and then what else you're getting into?
Yeah. So I have a few things in the works. I have a new video coming out every Wednesday with a different guest every Wednesday on Tech Lax, and
I just remembered to
I
put the logo underneath you. Sorry for not having it there, but there we go. We now
no
have
worries,
the
Greg.
logo of Techlax. OJ the dude. Follow him on here. He's on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube coming up. New video drops every Wednesday is the schedule I just got on, and I have a few NLL players in the works. And yeah, hopefully you guys all check it out. It's some good stuff.
You've already had some big ones. You've had Cornwall, Salama. I mean, you've had a yeah, the amount of people you interview, I have no idea how you run the pace you do. You ended up with a bunch of the Vancouver guys. I mean, you're all over it.
Yeah,
So I highly
I got
recommend anybody who wants to see some of these box lacrosse. Pretty soon, Owen's going to have more interviews than I do, which is impressive seeing he's only been running this channel for like, I don't know, maybe not even a month now, maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I am hoping to also get my birthday's coming up on the 5th, so I'm also hoping to get some gear so I can do in-person interviews and meet up with some of these amazing people around Calgary.
Absolutely. Thank you, Owen, so much for your time. This has been we need a pretty cool name for our show that we do on this one too. What we got to start thinking of some names. I like the one I'm doing with the sensei there. He decided we're gonna call it Sensei and the Squatch. I like that one. We need something cool like that, like OJ the Squatch or OJ and the Squatch. I'm not sure. OJ's
Yeah,
a little touchier here in America probably than it is in Canada.
probably a little bit, I would assume.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do the BS in the text lax. But all right, thank you everybody so
Yeah.
much for joining.